Sallie B. Howard School for Arts and Education.
The blue, oh yeah! Give Kashari a hand,
The following segment contains unrehearsed and somewhat comedic background noises due to the lack of a proper soundstage and the unfortunate proximity to the band room. We apologize in advance for any inconvenience or distraction.
Good morning, boys and girls, teacher and staff of SALLIE B. Howard. This is another edition of our Friday show. Please excuse me if our neighbors were being too loud. We have quite a ruckus neighbors. We will be interviewing Tanner Craig. Tanner?
Hello, Jomonte.
So, was it cold in Alaska?
Very.
The temperature while we were there was 50 degrees, around 50, maybe a little bit less in the evening, but around 50 degrees. And I had a winter coat, a winter hat, boots to my ankle, boots to the calf of my leg. I mean, I was really dressed down, and I didn't have any issues with weather while I was there. I was really warm. So the dramatic change in temperature is contrast in temperature, and they think that's like summertime. Flip-flops, t-shirts, all of that. 50 degrees. Okay.
So what did you do to get there?
We did a 5-page essay comparing Wilson and Alaska. And I was one of the lucky 5 to be picked.
And I was told that Alaska has a population density of 1 person per acre. India has a population density of 1,000 people per acre.
Wow.
So that was the kind of difference. I was like, wow, this is amazing to me.
So did you go by plane?
Mm-hmm. We went to Raleigh-Durham Airport, boarded our flight at 9:30, flew all the way to Dallas, Texas, had about an hour. Whoa. Yes, it was my first plane ride, so it was pretty fun.
I wanted to go on the plane because it was the first time I went on a plane, but it was fun, and like we were on like 8 planes, so I got used to it.
Then we got on another plane, flew to Seattle, Washington. Then we stayed there for about 20 minutes. We got on the last plane and flew to Fairbanks, Alaska.
We stayed with host families. We did not stay in hotels. And that is what made the trip as rich and as enriching and as broadening and as, you know, as special as it was. The children were even crying with each other when they were leaving the last day.
So what kind of activities did you do?
We went climbing, hiking, and had snowball fights. Pretty fun.
Awesome.
Went to museums. That was pretty fun.
in this trip? What stood out the most to you of the places we went, the people we met, the things that we did? That's one. And the other thing I want to know, how did this trip change you? In what way are you a different person now as a result of going on this trip? Okay?
Thank you.
This trip changed me because at first I was too quick to judge things, like when we went hiking, and that became my favorite thing when we went to Alaska. We went up Hatcher's Pass, and when we got to the top, there was a huge lake, and it was very beautiful. It was a nice spectacle.
When we got there, we met up with one of the nicest people that I met.
Hey guys, could you be quiet? They don't listen.
No. We met up with Bob Guyman, a very nice man who took us to Camp Liwa.
Like when you want to make new friends, then like you talk to them first and like not wait for them to come to you. You come to them first. So I'm a lot less shy than I used to be.
When I was in Alaska, I learned to be more outgoing and to I learned how to make new friends, and like I had to go up to them, to talk to them, and be friends with them.
So, who did you stay with?
We stayed with my host family, and we stayed with Mr. Bob, who was our first host family, in Healy. Then when we went to Wasilla, I stayed with Sammy, who was a 9th grader, Chase, who was a 7th grader, her mom, Pollyanna, and her dad, Robert.
So did you make any friends?
Yes, I made a lot. Sammy and Chase are now my friends. A few people at Teelan Middle School are my friends. And Manveer, Prince, Amteshwar, Nitin, and Yugansh are now my friends from Pine Grove.
Quite some names.
Interesting.
So, what kind of animals did you see?
We saw grizzly bears. When we went to a wildlife center, we saw a bald eagle, some great horned owls, lynx, which is kind of like a bobcat. We saw black bear cubs. We saw bison.
Bison? I thought they were extinct.
No, they're not. We saw these birds that they could fly if they wanted to, but they didn't like to fly. They were called ptarmigan. We found a whole nest of them when we were going up Hatcher's Pass. Also, we saw some sea otters and stellar sea lions. We also saw a couple types of birds.
Awesome. So,
I forgot. We also saw some moose and some caribou.
Caribou and moose. Okay. So, how did life go in Alaska?
It was awesome. They had pretty much the same things we had: iPhones, iPads, TVs. They wore the same clothing as us, but they just wore like an extra layer. They kind of did the same activities as us, but they went four-wheeling, ice skating, fishing, stuff like that.
At first, when I went hiking, I was like, I didn't want to do it, and I was all mad and stuff. But then, like, when I got up there, I was happy that I went because it was like a great experience. I'm glad I didn't go back down.
So, I hear there's this Pine Grove school. Do you pick pines or something there?
No, they don't pick pines, but it's a private school in India, and they do a lot of the same stuff we do, and they also have a shooting range, a pool, stuff like that, and they don't go home. They stay there the whole year, and then they have about a week or two to go home to their families a year.
So, like, do they ever have a summer?
For maybe a month or two, maybe a little bit more. They have a warm season where it gets warm about 80, 90 degrees, and then that's when they go back into their fall season, and then the rest of it is summer.
Did you see any northern lights?
Yes. When we were at Bob's house in Healy, I stayed up until about 1 o'clock, and then out of the window I saw a little green thing, and then that's when Mr. Bob came in and woke us up and told us that the northern lights were outside. I woke up, tried to wake a few other people up. Some of them got up, some of them just went back to bed. We went outside, and there wasn't really pink, it was all green. You saw it flow in, and then it stayed there, got bigger, and then it just flowed out. Aliens. We saw it in the front of the house first, and then we went to the back, and we had to keep going back and forth because it would disappear, but it was pretty amazing.
Awesome. So, I hear you guys had a soccer game. I have a little bit of experience in soccer myself, so.
Me and Mark and a couple of the Pine Grove students were playing at Tri-Valley Middle School, and first we had the pregame. We beat them, I think, 3-1. Then we had the real game. We beat them 2-0. It was kind of hard because we had to wear shorts and stuff, and there was heavy winds, and the parking lots were made of dirt. So it was
freezing cold, wasn't it?
Freezing cold, and the wind kicked the dirt up and flung it at us. The people at Tri-Valley were used to it, but we weren't. We still beat them though.
Well, another thing that stood out most for me was when we went to the soccer game in Taylor Middle School. We didn't really have a complete team. We were going against the whole other school, and we actually won the game 2-0. I played very good, and people were like, "He's just a little kid. Why didn't you just take the ball from him?"
And we were playing against the school team, and we beat them 2-0. Yeah.
So, I heard you guys went to Disneyland.
Yep.
So, what did you do there?
There were two parks. One was called California Adventures, and the other one was the actual Disneyland. We went to California Adventures first. They had Cars Land.
I love that.
Then they had a few other little places to go. There wasn't really that many roller coasters, but we went on two. And there was the Hollywood Tower Hotel. They took you up in an elevator and it just dropped you.
So did you see white snow?
We saw white snow.
No. I meant Snow White. Yes, Snow White.
Oh, yes.
The purpose of the trip is to prepare our children to be global citizens and comfortable on the world stage. In the 21st century, you can, if you're 60 years old in this room, when we were growing up and going to school, that was not in our consciousness. That was not how people were talking to us. Oh, you got to get ready for the 21st century. Oh, you got to be a global citizen. No, you get a job and you go somewhere in the neighborhood or in the area and work until you retire. Now, for these children, that's not going to do. You have to be competitive in the global marketplace, and not just competitive in that I'm the smartest in math and science and all that, but you have to be competitive in the sense that you're comfortable with other cultures, you value other cultures and differences. It's not like, oh, I need to learn the language. No, I need to appreciate people from different worlds, from different places, who have different customs, different habits, different ways of life, different religions.
That concludes our interview. See you next time, and thank you for watching this Alaska special.
Welcome, one and all, to the Sallie B. Howard Arts and Humanities presentation of the Pride Classes of the Week. The winners are chosen and honored by the Arts and Humanities team. Ms. Fordyce's kindergarten class. Ms. Darrden's third grade class.
Hello, it's Ms. Foster here to shine a spotlight on a newspaper article that was written earlier this week featuring Taylor McNeil and honoring her for her success in auditioning with the Carolina Ballet for their annual Nutcracker, which will be performed in Raleigh at the Progress Energy Center. Taylor works very hard and she definitely deserves this honor. I'm sure she is cringing right now. She might be, face might be red. She might have her head down. I don't know, but she deserves it. So we want to shine the spotlight on her. I also ask that you try to do one of two things. Find the article here at the school in the library. It's also on the dance honors board in front of the school, and I believe there may be an article in the front office. Also, if you can, purchase tickets to her show. You would have to find out exactly which night she will be performing, because they alternate performers, and I believe they're purchased through Ticketmaster or maybe the Carolina Ballet website. Anyway, thank you.